My top games of 2024, whether I was thinking about them, playing them, incredibly inspired by them. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. I am Sacred. This is the Sacred Art of Gaming, and we found ourselves heavily inspired this year. So much so, we jumped right back into YouTube. So, to kind of give you an idea of like the parameters within this, it's that like some of these games aren't even well, I think all the top 10. This is a top 10 because we love lists. It didn't necessarily have to be a game, but it's really just things that I found myself constantly going to, playing, referencing, hacking, being inspired by the setting, anything like that, because playing for our hobby is a little different, right? Like there's things that I might love in a game that I always go to and maybe I don't play it as much for one reason or another. So with that out of the way, I want to throw out some honorable mentions because 2024 has been one hell of a year for gaming for me. So I'm just gonna rattle off a bunch very quickly. And also I wanna say that Maze Rats and Karen, I feel like I always use those quite a bit. It's almost like a reference document to me, so it's gonna be unfair to throw that in, but I wanted to mention it because it's amazing. So here we go. 13th Age, Knave, The One Ring, Pirate Board, Crown and Skull, Band of Blades, Note Quest, Savage World Superpower Companion, Avatar Legends, Into the Odd, Troika, Cult, Spire and Heart, Notorious, Mouse Ritter, Harper's Quest 2, Root, Artifact, and 11th Beast. Some of those I own, some of those I don't. Some of them I have physically, some of them I have digitally only. Some of them I constantly keep going back to, but I'm just waiting for time or a deal or whatever to get them. And then most notably, the one I left out so I could speak about it now, I think I said Broken Empires, but both Broken Empires as well as this one for sure, MCDM. Obviously neither one of those games are out, but both of those games had me thinking quite a bit about like how games work. Especially MCDM, because there's been like a designer's diary that's been taking place and you kind of get to see like how the sausage is made. And I've learned so much from that, from Matt Colville and others. And man, I've honestly rethought like how gaming exists in our hobby through that, which is just the highest of regards, or the highest of praises, I should say, for something that doesn't even exist yet. So yeah, super excited. But let's get into the top 10. The first one, and this isn't in necessarily any order, but this is probably obvious. Number one, Dragon Bane, right? Like, come on. Dragon Bane, I don't want to beat a dead horse too much. I love Dragon Bane so much that it got me to revisit solo gaming. It got me to revisit YouTube. It's gotten me to appreciate the roll-under system, something that I've always kind of been against. Dragon Bane, I can't say enough good things about it. The roll-under system works great, it's so smooth, so efficient. There's just enough to sink your teeth into. I feel like as I play it more, there may be like a little more that I want in terms of like abilities and class type stuff, but people are building those out. So let's go to number two. Shadow of the Demon Lord, something that doesn't necessarily need to be expanded, although it got expanded anyways. the classes and the paths, right? How you kind of start off with the novice paths, and then it goes to expert, and then it goes into master. I love that. That idea keeps me up at night. I wish I could do more with that. Like, I'm always thinking about ways to hack that up and use it into different systems and settings, and I love it. I also love the mechanics behind it between the like quick actions and the like normal actions. Also great. The setting, super dark. I dig that even if others don't. But yeah, it gets me all jazzed. Number three, Easy D6. What an amazing game. This game it blends like a light RPG, but it still has like just enough there to feel like you're doing the things. It's scratching that D&D itch without diving down too deep. That's definitely going to be something I really want to dive into more in 2025. But yeah, Easy D6, just so efficient in its build, and also the way the book is laid out. Well done. Number 4, and this is kind of cheating, maybe. Ironsworn / Starforged. I say / Starforged because I spent a lot of time being very excited about Starforged and Sundering Isles with the Kickstarter, because I didn't actually have Starforged until very recently. Also, something worth mentioning is that Ironsworn never really fully clicked for me until this year. I don't know, I couldn't do it. I think I used a website, I think it was like Ironsworn Companion or something along those lines, and then I found all this other material, and for some reason, that's what made it really click for me. And I played a good amount of Ironsworn and also looked into Starforged and Sundering Isles quite a bit. I'm already digging into Sundering Isles. I've got Sundering Isles content coming out either end of this year or beginning of next year. There's going to be a lot more Starforged Sundering Isles in the near future. And what's amazing about it is how you're not necessarily tracking like HP like you would in other games. You're kind of like tracking the story. Like the story is almost like a health bar in a sense. And, you know, not too different from Blades in the Dark with a circle. I guess instead of a pie, it's a bar graph or just a bar. Yeah, Ironsworn. The more I think about it, the more I like it. It just takes a little bit for me to readjust coming from the type of games I typically play. Number 5. This game may forever live on as the game that I look at the most and feel inspired by the most, but will probably never play, and that is Ars Magica. Ars Magica is an incredible, there's some awesome concepts in there, most notably the magic, as I'm sure you maybe are aware, but they do also have that like troop system as well, where it's kind of normal, almost like Lord of the Rings, where yeah, it's okay to have one person who's all powerful and one person who like holds the stuff, and another person who like maybe makes sure that the wizard doesn't get sneaked up on or snuck up on. So those two interesting concepts, but the magic, I am constantly going into that magic system and trying to pull it apart and put it back together and applying it to different things. Ars Magica, incredible, inspiring, I love it. Speaking of inspiring, Index Card RPG. I think we're on number 6 now. Index Card RPG, I believe they re-released like the Master Edition, right? And although a lot of that stuff is very similar, there is some stuff that's been reorganized and is different, and it feels just new enough to just breathe some more life into it. I still have my old Index Card RPG books. The GM advice is incredible. The game is so modular and hackable and also super efficient. My God, Index Card RPG, I would be shocked if I don't deliver on more Index Card RPG content coming in 2025, because I dig it. New Manera. If you've seen my settings video where I'm just like excited for certain settings, a lot of people would of course suggest, oh, we'll just play New Manera and that'll do the thing. Well, it's kind of true, but in that suggestion and me looking into New Manera, it really spiraled me into like a, okay, I'm over here, this is the kind of thing that I'm like looking for. But New Manera, initially I was like, I'll just kind of like be inspired by the setting. But over time, I've also been kind of interested in the system as well, and I've been breaking down the classes and applying it. I think I'm just gonna have to dive into it 2025, do a playthrough of that, because New Manera, Monty Cook games, super inspiring, and the more I look at it, the more I just need more of it. Just, I don't know, I found myself obsessed with this world that's like the science, the technology is like magic because it's so advanced, and there's a past civilization, and now you're kind of like a little bit more on the simple side, maybe not quite to the level of Horizon, but like you're using technology in a way that is so mysterious and interesting and finding all this cool stuff. I love it. Number 8. This game I've resisted for quite some time because I've had games that are similar to it, but I just could not help myself. I got pulled in, and I think it's because the solo rules that dropped. Vason. Oh my God. Vason, I think, if this game ends up being what I think it is, and I need to get like a solo play, but from what I can tell, this might become like the game for me when it comes to like Witcher-esque, trying to figure out a mystery and the monster and how to defeat the monster. I really think it might be the one. I do love some other games like Monster of the Week and East Texas University, but oh man, I ordered so much stuff for the recent Kickstarter and I just got super excited. I do have it digitally and I have played through it, but you know, I'm interested in like how it's gonna go through, like how it's gonna work solo. That's really interesting to me, especially considering like it's based on mystery, so you're gonna discover things on your own that are very important for defeating this scenario. Number 9, this one might feel out of left field, but basic role-playing game. Like anyone has done on the internet or YouTube or elsewhere, you find yourself into this weird spiral where like somehow the algorithm suggests something to you. Next thing you know, you're like elbow deep in a system that you never considered. I've never been like I need Call of Cthulhu or anything like that. And I still not necessarily like real jazz about jumping into Call of Cthulhu, although I have recently been considering RuneQuest. But basic role-playing game, the more I learned about it, the more I was interested in like just a D100 skill type system. In that book is incredible and very inspiring. When I got that book, I would just like sit in bed at night, as crazy as it sounds, sit in bed at night and just be inspired by the options available to you, because it's giving you a toolkit. And I love a good toolkit. And D100 felt like kind of alien to me because I don't play D100 systems. So yeah, it just had me rethinking everything that I already know and love and applying it to this. And it got me jazzed. Number 10. I don't know if this is exciting or not, but it's exciting to me because I was very late and I resisted for quite some time. Number 10 is Shadow Dark. That's right, I finally own it. It's finally mine. Not physically because it's on back order, but I do have it digitally. And yes, my assumptions were true. The player's guide really does not do that game justice, and shame on me for going off of the player's guide. But I mean, what else am I gonna do, right? Like, there have been so many like amazing games lately, and I have so many behind me that I still have not played or like really done much with. So I don't know, I kind of ebb and flow through like, oh, I'm not getting any games at all, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open and I'm getting everything. So yeah, Shadow Dark. I've gone through it and I've been very inspired by a lot of the tables and a lot of the options that are in there. Kind of almost feels not quite like Morkborg. Not quite to that extent, but somewhere between like Morkborg and D&D, and I mean, of course, like old school D&D, right? Which, I mean, I wasn't playing old school D&D to know, but I hear good things. So yeah, Shadow Dark, just going through that book, and I can't imagine when I physically get the book, it's just gonna be incredible. It's gonna be an incredible feeling, and I'm sure there'll be a playthrough of that coming in 2025. I can almost guarantee that. So, were you inspired by anything that I mentioned here? Don't forget to like if you're digging the video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. 2025 is going to be one hell of a year. We've got a lot of games we want to dig more into. And 2024 is definitely the year of Dragonbane for me. Dragonbane, whew, got a lot of Dragonbane in there. I'm not done with Dragonbane because I'm still getting stuff for it, but it's not going to be like all Dragonbane. Next year, there's definitely going to be a lot more variety. Let me know in the comments down below. Was there anything that you think maybe should have been on the list? Anything that you thought was silly to be on the list? Let me know. All right, so I am Sacred. This is the Sacred Art of Gaming. Don't forget, story first and play always. Till next time, signing out. 2025, here I come!